Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm so excited to finally do this. I love doing makeup videos and I've wanted to do a drugstore versus high-end makeup comparison for so long. Been hoarding and testing products. Everything I'm going to show you today is an actual favorite. I'm not just using these products because they're dupes or because I need to for this video. I bought everything with my own money. I don't do sponsorships. It's all just products I really like and use, and I wanted to see compared how they hold up, the high-end products that I've spent a lot of money on versus the drugstore products that are such a steal. So I'm not going to tell you yet. You can kind of look at my makeup and decide which side you think looks better. I have half drugstore and half high-end on right now, and I'm about to show you that process. But first, I'll let you decide. Try not to base it on which half of my face you like better, because nobody's face is quite symmetric, but which side of makeup do you prefer? That is the question. So draw your conclusions now. So before I show you exactly what I used and how I applied it, I also want to let you know I'm going to be checking in throughout the day today, all the way until I go to bed tonight, so we can decide which side of my face held up better, which product lasts better, and just which look better overall. So draw your conclusions now, and then stay tuned to see exactly what happened here. All right, let's get started. Please don't mind the bunny ear headband. I'm going to be putting the drugstore makeup on your left side. So just remember, left and lower end both start with an L. Sometimes when I'm watching these videos, I'm like, which side is which? I can't remember. So this will be our drugstore side. This will be our higher end side. Okay, so starting with foundation for my higher end side, I'll be using this Nars Sheer Glow in the color Punjab. And I'll be applying it with a beauty blender. I love me a good beauty blender. I just put the foundation directly on the beauty blender. I feel like that's the easiest way to not get it all over my fingers. I feel so lopsided right now. But I just finished blending this side with my Nars Sheer Glow foundation. It is a very sheer, dewy foundation, so it honestly doesn't look that different yet from the side that doesn't have foundation. But I'm going to be matching this with the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. This is supposedly a 24-hour foundation. I like this one. It's very dewy and very sheer as well, so I feel like it's gonna be a good match for the Nars. And I'm in the shade 204 Natural Buff on that. So I'm going to be using this Real Technique sponge. I have to admit, I've never used this shape before. I'm kind of confused what the flat side is for. Maybe it's for foundation. I don't really know. But I will say it feels huge compared to the Beauty Blender. It's not that much bigger, but it's enough to feel it. One thing I always notice is that drugstore foundations don't smell as good. Not that that matters like at all, but sometimes when I'm putting on makeup, if it smells good, I think that's so nice. So I'm gonna give this just as much blending effort as I did the other side. Go right down the side here, and I will report back. All right, so I now have foundation on both halves of my face. This is the lower end side, this is the higher end side. I don't see much of a difference. I feel like the lower end one did blend a little bit easier than the Nars. I always kind of have to put a couple layers on the Nars and like really blend it in, so that's a plus. The shades don't match perfectly, but try to base it on how the makeup looks, not a perfect, I'm not gonna get like a perfect match between the sides. All right, next I'm gonna do a little bit of a contour. So for the higher end, I'm gonna use the Hoola Quickie contour stick. This is, I believe this just comes in one shade, and it's just a cream contour. Then on this side, I'll use the NYX Wonder Stick. This one has a highlight and a contour side. It's in the shade Universal, and I'll do the same exact thing. Just looking at it now as essentially war paint, I think the Hoola side is a bit more pigmented, has more color to it, whereas the NYX side is a little more subtle. Let's see how they blend. I like to just blend this in with the Beauty Blender right on top of my foundation. Contour is blended, and I have to say, first impressions, the higher end side does look a little bit more polished for that. Okay, moving on to concealer. I'm going to be using the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Super Concealer on my higher end side. This is one of my favorites. I feel like it's pretty good coverage. I've got the color Moderately Fair, number 12. I'm just going to dot that on with my beauty blender. I will say I have more to cover up on my higher end side. It's also my bad side because I've got some breakouts and stuff over there. So we'll see, this will really put the concealer to the test. So this side has all been concealed, and on this side, I will say I feel like the foundation left a little something to be desired. I'm still seeing some of my like redness in my cheek zone here. So the foundation kind of has a harder job on that side as well. And the foundation I'm using from the drugstore is part of this Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define line, and I have it in the color C6. So this is actually a great dupe for like a Tarte Shape Tape or one of those style concealers. It's very thick and it goes on with the wand. I'm honestly just gonna kind of cover my cheek because I'm seeing a lot of redness here. So this is a much thicker, more full coverage concealer. It's a little hard to blend, but I think it's really gonna stay in place throughout the day today. And it's a bit light for me, but I do like sort of a highlight shade in my concealer. I feel like that helps to brighten up my face a bit. Okay, so here's the status so far. See if you can tell any big differences between the two sides or not. And now let's go ahead and anchor that all in place with powder. So I'll be using the Hourglass Translucent Veil on my higher end side. This is such a crowd favorite powder. I really like it too. I'm gonna just set under my eyes. I don't bake, but I do like to get a little bit of powder there to hold my concealer in place. I just like to buff this on with a big velvety brush. This one's by It Cosmetics. I will list this and everything else that I use in the description box below this video. All right, and for the other side, we'll be using such a classic favorite. This is Airspun Coty Loose Face Powder in the color Translucent, extra coverage. This powder makes me so nostalgic. This top is exactly what my grandma Charlotte, who I'm named after, used to use. And I just remember watching her powder her face, and she just seemed like the most glamorous lady in all the world. So even the smell of this powder makes me really nostalgic. And of course, it's an amazing price point. It's a drugstore product and it's a classic. So let's see how it can compare. I will say my bias is that it looks a little more powdery than some of the more higher end, more modern powders, like especially this Hourglass one that I love. But let's see, it smells so good. Putting it on feels so warm and fuzzy and like a grandma hug, you know? And we all need more of those. Okay, I have so much makeup on my lips that I kind of want to move on to lipstick, so we don't have to look at these dead foundation lips anymore. I'm not going to use a lip liner for the sake of convenience, so I'll just use this lipstick. One of my favorites, another very tried and true favorite of everyone, is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk lipstick. And I've never put lipstick on just half my lips before, but let's see. I'll show you this side-by-side swatch of the two lipsticks I'm going to use so you can see they're not a perfect color match, which will be kind of amusing. This is Charlotte Tilbury, and this one is NYX. The Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit less bright pink, but I think they're in the same neighborhood, very similar consistencies. This is the NYX Pin Up Pout lipstick. The color is Boundless. And it's a lot more pigmented. Not only is it not a perfect color match, but it's a lot brighter at a single swipe. This is strange, but what do we think so far? Does one side look more powdery or have more imperfection showing through than the other? The lips are slightly different colors. Let's move on to bronzer. So I'm going to be using my all-time favorite, the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. This is just in the medium shade, and I'm so out of this, but I'm still trying to get more, and I'm just going to put this along under the cheekbone and around the sides of my face and blend that really well. And for the lower inside, we'll be using another crowd favorite, Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This one I love the smell of. Well, they both smell amazing actually. The first one smelled like chocolate and this one smells like coconut. And this one is also a little bit more pigmented, I would say. Like a lot of powder comes up really easily on this formulation. And so I always wind up going a little bit strong with it. But it's gonna kind of liven up my face and maybe kind of match the tones a little better. Next up, let's do blush. So for higher end, I'm gonna use another favorite of mine, Tarte Paaarty 12-Hour Blush. Just pop this right on. I will swatch these for you side by side. They're a pretty similar shade. This is Tarte, and this is Essence. So the main thing to see is which one's gonna last longer. I never feel like blush lasts very well on me. So that will be the test. And I always go a little heavy with it at first in the hopes that that makes it last longer. And then this is the Essence Mosaic Blush on the other side. Always smile when you put your blush on. My mama taught me that. Okay, blush and bronzer. And just to keep things extra fun, let's also do some highlighters. So side by side here, I'll let you see the two I'm using, the Anastasia Amrezzy highlighter and the Revolution Strobe highlighter. These are both kind of in a golden shade. Very, very, very pretty. So here's the higher end one by Anastasia. I always like to do a nose highlight, but my nose is kind of in the middle of my face, so I'll put the higher end one on there. I don't know which side my nose belongs to. I always like to do a little upper lip highlight. Okay, other side, Makeup Revolution Strobe highlight. Looks a lot more chunky, like chunks of gold specks on my face. I've already got my nose. Do this side of my upper lip, just in case you can tell. Get under the brow bone and right inside the eye. Sometimes I feel like I watch these videos and I'm like, have you ever used that drugstore product before? Or did you just get it for the sake of this video? These are all products I know, use, and love, so I really wanted to be sure it was something I could stand by before I recommended it. We'll still see which side does better overall, but I just want you to know I love both sides. I love all these products. Okay, moving on to the eyes, which is so fun. Again, to keep things simple, I'm just gonna use bronzer in my eye contour area in the crease. Okay, I've added a little bit of depth and dimension to each eye with the bronzer. So now I'm gonna come in with a liquid eyeshadow. These shades are about as close as I could get. I will show you up close, but I'm using the Stila. This is their Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow in the color Kitten Karma. And then for the lower end drugstore side, it's Essence Metal Shock eyeshadow in the color Stars and Stories. And I'm just gonna go ahead and tip my hand a little bit and tell you that this Essence one is so affordable and one of my all-time favorite products. I think it's beautiful. The majority of the time you guys compliment my makeup and videos, I'm wearing that on my eyelids. So it's really pretty. It's also really pretty in gold. But as you can see, these are both more of like a rose gold type of shimmer. The Stila one, I mean, I'm just letting you know in advance, I just don't like it as much. I tend to get a lot of fallout with it, so I'm really trying not to do that. And it's also got bigger like chunks of glitter in it. So that's a certain look that I'm not always going for. But I like to apply that and then kind of blend it in with a flat, rounded eyeshadow brush. And I already have so much glitter like on my nose, on my cheek. It just falls everywhere. So this is one area where I'm just gonna go ahead and say, I know the drugstore one is better. It's so much better. I'm gonna try and clean up that fallout. All right, so there's just gonna be random chunks of glitter on my face now. Moving on to the other side, my beloved Metal Shock eyeshadow. Same thing, I'll put it all over the lid. And it's just such a, the shimmer is much more fine much less intense. I'm gonna blend it in with the same style brush. And these are totally different colors and consistencies, and honestly, I might just look a little crazy today because the two sides of my face aren't matching. But you know what? The important thing is that we see what lasts better and what works better as a product. Not that my face be symmetrical today, who cares? All right, so that is the shimmer shadow on both lids. And I always like to kind of seal in a liquid or a cream eyeshadow with a powder. So for the higher end, we'll be using Tarte Chrome Paint. I'll show you these swatched by side again. It's in the shade Park Ave Princess, and then I'm just going to compare it with a Maybelline, one of their mono eyeshadows, and this is in the color Glow Down. So they're both very gold. Again, the Tarte, same thing I wasn't liking about the other higher end eyeshadow. It has like much more chunky glitter in it, which again is great when you're going for that certain look, but on an everyday basis. I like to have a little shimmer that's like eye-catching, but not making people wonder if I'm a stripper. I like layering the gold over the rose gold. I think that makes a nice effect. So moving on to the Maybelline, again, I really prefer this eyeshadow than the Tarte one. Sometimes that's refreshing when the cheaper thing is the clear winner. It's a very like buttery champagne gold, whereas the Tarte one is more of a yellow gold, and again, it's just a more fine shimmer consistency. So I know my eyes look totally different now, but just try to base it on the quality of the makeup, of the product, which one you prefer. All right, moving on. I like to do a bold lower lid eyeliner. So my favorite eyeliner of all time is this one by MAC. It's called Graphblack Technakohl, and I get above the lash line, so I'm there in that waterline, which is why I need a really, really waterproof eyeliner. And I like to have one that will last all day. Okay, so couldn't have been simpler to use this pencil liner on that side. Now I wanted to find an equivalent drugstore eyeliner I really could stand behind, and I have never loved any of the ones I've tried as much as that, so I'm gonna go with a really old secret technique I actually learned from a drag queen, and they have the best makeup tips, which is to use a black eyeshadow powder on that like little lower waterline. So I'm gonna try and show you this as best as I can. I just use one of those cheap little eyeshadow sponges that comes in the palette with it. And then it's a little messy, but I apply it right above the lash line. And the staying power on this compared to an actual pencil, most of the lower end pencils, is kind of shocking. You obviously can't be as precise with one of these, but for the difference in price, it gets the job done. And I have, for our comparison, my two all-time favorite mascaras that happen to be complete dupes for each other, I believe, and they're both brand new. I haven't opened the packaging because I want to have a perfectly comparable experience fresh out of the tubes. So first up, on the higher end side, Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. I talk about this pretty frequently. Oh, it's so beautiful. My gosh. I love this mascara. So I don't think any mascara is at its best like when you freshly open the tube, because it can be a little too wet, but that's why I want to have the comparison of these both right when you open it. And please excuse me while I apply about 8 coats to this eye. I'm gonna have to speed this up for time's sake. Okay, look at the difference between my natural eyelashes and my natural eyelashes with that mascara. Like, whoa. And this is really not at its best because it was like way too wet. The first few times you use a mascara are just never as good. So that said, here comes a brand new fresh tube of the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. These are both just in black. And you can check out some of my more recent Get Ready With Me videos to see my technique on mascara. I take it very seriously. But for time's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and skip this part and I'll report back. Okay, we have mascara on both lids. What do you think? Can you see a difference? I have to say here in person, I don't see much of a difference. I feel like the Better Than Sex side is maybe a little more perfect, like less wonky, whereas this side, there's a few lashes that they were just going their own direction. I couldn't really control that. But I love both these mascaras. Neither one is clumpy. Neither one is like leaving me with a lot of fallout underneath. Moving on to brows, I'm going to be using the Anastasia Brow Definer Pencil on this side. I'm running really low on it. It's in the shade Soft Brown. So I like to use this to fill in. I have pretty sparse eyebrows, so I almost never skip this step. This is another case where I think I know in advance that I really like the drugstore product better. I go through these so fast. I don't see why to spend so much more on it. It's crazy. Okay, so we filled that side in. The other side we'll fill in with this e.l.f. brow pencil. They don't have as many shades, I feel like, but this is in taupe, which is possibly slightly darker than the other side. I will say I like the shape of this pencil better because it's a more fine point, but obviously you can get high ends that are fine point. I just happen to have the Anastasia Brow Definer, which is like pretty wide. Another thing I prefer about the e.l.f. pencil is the packaging, that this side is clear that's on the brush. So I can immediately tell which side is the brush and which side is not. For some reason that's a big pet peeve of mine. Okay, then I'm going to put in a little eyebrow gel. So higher end, we're using Hourglass just to kind of tame the hairs and add a little volume. Okay, and then for lower end brow gel, we're using NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in Chocolate. This one does not grab onto the hairs with like little fibers that kind of create more volume like the other side. I would say this is more just for filling in the color. The last thing I want and need to do is put a lip gloss on. My lips feel so dry, especially this side, which is the NYX lipstick. I think because it's more pigmented, it's like especially more drying. So I love to top my lipsticks with a clear gloss. I'm going to use Glossier on this side. And then for the dupe for that, I have the Essence Wet Look Clear Gloss. This is another really nice one. So that's my finished look. We've got the drugstore side and the higher end side. So I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I think they look pretty comparable. Don't judge me on which side of my face is nicer. We all have different asymmetrical faces, but try to judge just on the quality of the products, which side you like. Final look now that everything is done. I pulled my hair back so you can see. I have to say my opinion. First, I'll give you a second. Draw your opinions. Final opinions now. I think the mascara, the eye look, like the mascara and the brows are much better on the higher end side, which is this side. I don't know about much better, but I think they're noticeably different. Like I feel a little bit wonky and off balance. This mascara is great, but I don't think it quite measured up. And I also feel like this brow product's just kind of, my brow looks a little more deflated on this side. But foundation wise and face product wise, I'm not seeing a huge difference. Other than the difference in the lip colors, I will say this one is a lot more like visible, more pigmented, a little prettier maybe. It's also a little more drying, so take it or leave it. You guys saw quite a comparison there. And now I'm just gonna go about my day, check in with you, and let you decide how each side of my face is holding up, because I've got a lot on my to-do list, so should definitely go through a beating today. All right, it's been a few hours. I've had lunch. I've been vigorously vigorously cleaning my house, like to the point my Apple Watch thought I was working out because I was like vacuuming and mopping and doing laundry. So this is a good time to see how the makeup's holding up. I texted a couple friends a selfie and I was like, which side do you like better? One chose the higher end side, the other one chose the higher end eye, and then everything else this side. And the other one chose the higher end side. So they didn't know what they were choosing. I will say, I think it's this mascara. Like, it is just that Better Than Sex Mascara is dramatic. It really makes an impact. The other one's good, but it's just not as good. So I think this is like what's catching their eye when they say they like that side. And then also I have to say, I think I did a bad job on this brow, because that Anastasia brow pencil I used is like so thick, it's hard to be precise. So I think that's why this brow is less favored, but this eye is favored. So I don't know. Interesting to get people's votes. I can't wait to hear you guys' votes. And I'm gonna go sit down at my desk for a few hours, so I'll check in later. Hello again. I've been sitting in my office at my desk working for the last 6 hours or so. So I am ready to take a break, hopefully wrap up for the day and go for my daily run. So that'll be a good test for this makeup, but let's see where we're at right now. I feel like I'm getting some like fallout slash my bags are showing through under my eyes. But overall, like the coverage is good. Like my nose tends to get kind of red. I have like a allergy type of nose. So I think that's showing through a little bit, but I'm not mad at it overall, and I don't see a huge difference between the sides, and I haven't touched anything up. I just have lip balm on now because I'm about to go for my run and I always get chapped lips. So this is the situation. Post-work day, hanging in there. All right, post-run, the end of a long day, after dinner, check-in. So where are we at? So just a reminder, this is the higher end side, this is the drugstore side. I mean, I feel like they're both kind of holding up. I'm getting some like fallout under my eyeshadow or my eyeliner on both sides. And I'm tired and that definitely shows, but overall it's fine. So my husband Nate is about to get home and I'm gonna touch up my lipstick so that we can get his vote on what's left of this look. So far, all my friends have voted for a mix of the higher end and the drugstore side, but it has been unanimous that everybody liked this mascara better. And my friend that I just ran into was like, I see zero difference in the sides of your face. And I was like, well, there's like $1,000 difference. So it's there. Pretty impressive if you can't see it. Look who's here! Oh, hello. My hero. My sweet honey, I missed you all day.
I missed you? It was too long.
He had such a long day. He's being such an angel to appear briefly here. But you know, the constituency demands to see you. So.
Well, thank you, constituency.
But what we need to know today is which side of my face do you think looks better? No, you can look at my real face.
I know, but I need to get behind the light. Oh, boy. I mean...
Don't tell him. I will say, in your defense, it's like a lot has rubbed off.
Later.
Yeah.
Dang it.
What do you think?
Turn. Dang it.
What is DC doing? Alright, what do you think? Which side do you like better?
Is everything different?
What is this chin move you're doing?
I don't know.
Honey, just pick a side.
There's no scene. There's no perfect scene.
Well, just pick a side. Alright, come on. Final answer. Just which one do you like better? Come on, it's not that hard.
Buck in the shadow, I can't see.
What are you doing? Pick a side. Oh my gosh, pick a side. Okay, focus on my eyelashes. Maybe that'll help you. He's struggling so much, you guys. This has been going on for like 20 minutes.
This side, but there's...
You like this side better?
of the. If you say to focus on your eyelashes. Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. You're the first person all day to say that.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a boy standing in front of the girl.
Honey, this side is
Drugstore?
high end, and the side you liked is drugstore.
Yeah, that's me.
You know he was like desperate to get that answer right.
No, your eyelashes look more separate and not clumped.
Yeah, but less
But
dramatic.
maybe you were crying.
No crying has occurred, although I did miss you all day.
Oh, I assumed you would cry about that.
Alright, thank you for being in my video, honey. I have to let him rest and recoup after his long day.
Rest and recuperate.
But there's the first vote for
Well, I don't know.
the drugstore side. It was very wishy-washy, but it was a vote. Alright, it's finally time for bed. So this is my final check-in. Overall, I'm pleased that like it kind of still looks like I have makeup on, considering it's been... I took my watch off, so I don't even know. I think it's been like 16 hours since I put this on. Is that possible? It's been a really, really long day. So anyway, final status. We have the higher end, we have the drugstore. I feel like this brow product is still on, whereas this brow product is long gone. Any other differences? Got a lot of fallout under both eyes. Well, this has been a very thorough, fascinating experiment, if I do say so myself. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you got some good ideas for some higher end stuff you want to try, some drugstore stuff you want to try. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I can't wait to read and hear what you thought. And definitely hit subscribe if you haven't yet so that you can hang around with us. We have a lot of fun on this channel, I like to think. And I guess that's it for now. So hit subscribe, say hi in the comments, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys, thank you. Now I get to wash all of this off.